Hey family, how you guys doing? Welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. I hope you guys are good. Yeah? If you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, if there's any negativity, if there's any hate, please do keep that on your side of the street, okay? Won't be acknowledged. So, family, in this video, I'm being guided by Spirit to talk a little bit about us taking some time to examine, right? And pay attention to our value systems around the kind of person and quality of person and their development, right? That we choose to share children with, or to have children with. Where exactly does your current value system lie when it comes to choosing a partner? Are you operating out of your lack, or are you operating out of a value system that you've developed and evolved over time to help you decide who it is that you see as somebody who is most valuable and a person of quality to have your children with? Why we're talking about this is because Spirit wants us to kind of shift our value system around these issues a little bit, maybe a lot bit, and start also considering the kind of impact the person you join with, the person you decide to share your seed or your bloodline with, right? What kind of impact that seed and that bloodline in its state, its current state of the person that you're choosing, right, can have on the spiritual and genetic DNA of a child that you are planning on bringing into this world. Collectively and spiritually, it's becoming more and more of an issue among our human population because children are being born to parents who are not spiritually and genetically strong, underdeveloped emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and also physically. We have a higher vibration of souls that are looking to come through into the earth realm right now and assist with our movement forward, right? However, if we as a human collective, especially in the Western world, if we don't have our value systems and our priorities appropriately aligned and guiding our decision making with who we decide to have children with, and taking time to also understand how has a person over their lifetime developed themselves. All of these things, genetically and spiritually, as well as energetically, have an impact on what it is that is actually carried down to the child that you bring into this world with somebody. It's what you've overcome and what kind of DNA memory you've built over time throughout your lifetime. It's like building muscle, right? The DNA breaks and it regrows, it grows back again, right? And that becomes a DNA memory as well. And what happens is, and this happens genetically, it happens spiritually, where we, over our lifetime, we are faced with lessons and challenges that are also placed into our lives to help us push past the barriers, push past the boundaries that the people, of the genetic and spiritual makeup, as well as the energy of the people that we've come from before us. It goes way beyond just cultural and traditional and religious religious aspects of things. All of those things keep us very bound and keep us very limited and constantly in one single circle, reproducing the same thing over and over. And because of the belief system and because of nobody wanting to expand out of those things, because they've been programmed to be fearful of exclusion for not being a part of it, there's no evolving, there's no growth, there are no spiritual and genetic breakthroughs. However you overcome, however you learn, and however you evolve and expand yourself, all of that gets put into your own genetic and spiritual memory bank. And when you have a child, it's passed down onto your child. On a higher level, the system understands this, which is why they so vigorously push, early sexual behavior onto children. Preaching, by way of the church and all those other systemic structures, that they shouldn't have sex early. But the loudest part is what they're actually exposed to, which is in their music, it's in their TV, in their movies, it's everywhere. Okay, it drains out any other kind of guidance that might speak to higher reasoning and self-preservation, self-growth and expansion, right? No one gets taught about these things with regards to our DNA and our spirituality because the system understands. If humans are equipped with the knowledge about these things, they won't have a population enough that is willing to submit to their own slave structures, right? Now, I think I might be going and drifting off into other areas, but it's really something to think about. Where are you limited? Where are you, living off of a value system that doesn't also encourage you to invest a little bit more understanding and time into the people you choose to join with and share your seed or your bloodline with? It's not about what they've come from, but how have they developed themselves? How have they genetically and spiritually grown and pushed past their own boundaries, pushed past their own limitations that were, put. Sorry, family, I had a little bit of an interruption there. Anyway, as I was saying, to push past, the limitations and the boundaries, the boundaries and the limitations that were passed down and carried forward from the people before them by way of their own genetic DNA, by way of spiritual DNA, as well as the energy that they're born into, right? All of that is not set in stone your entire life. As you grow and as you progress and as you, go through your lessons and your difficulties, and you build your spiritual muscles, and you also build your genetic DNA by, expanding on things that maybe the people before you haven't mastered, didn't get a chance to actually, learn or confront or ascend their own experience and perspective to, right? All of this is passed down to the children. When you give birth, the state of your spiritual DNA, the state of your genetics, the state of your energy, whatever it is that they're born into, that becomes part of your own child's embodiment, and whatever is influencing them and, playing a role in how they perceive the world and what they may perceive as opportunities and limitations as they move forward, right? So it's important for us to sort of shift our value system a little bit when we choose to engage people and how we choose to conduct ourselves and join ourselves with certain people in our lives and how we choose to procreate with them, right? Basing it on all the things that the system has had us caught up in for the longest time is not really to our benefit. It isn't. And that's why it is also better to have the children when you're a little bit older, so you're able so you also yourself have developed yourself genetically, spiritually, and energetically over time, mentally, risen your perspective, and are able to also, through having that within yourself, recognize it in somebody else that you choose to join with, and value a little, and have a little bit of a different value system around, what it is you're looking for within a person that you choose to, procreate with. I hope it's all making sense and not coming across as too imposing, right? Right now we have a really, collectively, especially again in the Western world, we have a really big pool of not the best quality of human being that is being raised and that is raising children at the moment. And we may all be stuck in our own little bubbles and whatever it may be right now, because life gets busy and we don't really take the time to consider these things. But in the future, these things tend to bite us in the ass, right? They will bite us in the ass. And it's up to us, again, I think also the millennial generation, to be more of a positive influence and opposing force to what it is that our younger generation has been raised by through the system. Because we have a whole generation who have parents that don't raise them, parents whose value system is all over the place, parents whose priorities are all completely misaligned or non-existent. A huge pool of young women who haven't, who have children that haven't even developed their own proper maternal instincts yet, and are wrapped up in all the material aspects and lower vibrational things that are going on in our world. We should also value more what it is we're going to be bringing our children into, right? So I hope this has resonated, right? Let us also just be people who or develop ourselves to a point that we can also be more open and available to receive a higher vibration of souls that are looking to come in and are equipped enough by way of developing ourselves, right, to provide them an experience of a higher vibration, of higher vibrational lessons that, again, it's another one of those spiritual things, right? That they're coming into the earth realm to have, to be appropriately guided on by the parents that they are born to, which right now these higher vibrational souls are coming in, but they're being born to parents who, they're asleep, and they're not able to guide the children that they have. They're not able to be a good influence. They shouldn't be parents right now, and maybe it'll rub some people the wrong way. But how can you, give a higher vibrational soul that is looking for a higher vibrational experience and to be led by a parent that is able to provide and guide through those experiences when that parent has nowhere come close to even developing themselves to that point of being able to guide such an experience for a child that might need it? We have the kids coming and talking about all these higher these higher perspective things, things of the universe and things of spirituality and things of the higher realms that, many people, especially our parents, the pool of parents that we have now, they're not able to comprehend and even guide appropriately. They're not developed or even equipped mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally enough to to birth a completely, well, no, let me not say completely, but to birth a human being of quality, right? I hope what I'm saying is making sense. Anyway, it is a big topic, and I'll touch on it again in the future somehow, but let's also not overload this video with too much information, right? I will pull a card today from the flower therapy deck from Doreen Virtue and see what spirit has to support our conversation, or give someone who's watching the video a nudge in a specific direction. Okay. Let's see. Now, please have one card, spirit. Become the true you. Develop yourself. Develop your spiritual energy. Develop your spiritual DNA. Develop your genetics. Okay? What you are today is not what it is. You're here to grow it. You're here to develop it. And you're here to also create a legacy beyond the material realm. A legacy beyond your money and your physical idea of achievement. Okay? You're here also to pass down a genetic and spiritual legacy to your children, and you'll only be able to do that with quality people, with people where you actually are concerned with their experience, concerned with how they overcome, concerned with how they've developed themselves spiritually, to be able to guide, you and your family and your children in a multidimensional way forward, energetically, mentally, spiritually. Okay? Grow into yourself and then be that version of yourself that you can then gift on and join with somebody as well who has developed themselves, grown, and gift on to the world. Show the world who you really are and what you were born to do. Okay? Let's see what the book has to say. Become the true you. Okay. We're each born with an important purpose. To uncover it, we need only look at our natural interests. Hobbies are often a reflection of our innate drive to complete our life's mission. Oftentimes, there are ways to follow your passion while still paying the bills and taking care of your responsibilities. The angels urge you to step onto the path you were born to walk. It's time for you to accept your authentic self. By doing so, you heal yourself, others, and the planet. Remember that God makes no mistakes. You were born with the perfect emotions, sensitivities, sexuality, beliefs, and passions. Please don't judge yourself for who you are. You're a very important and beautiful person. Additional meanings. Let go of procrastination. Get to work. Light worker. It's safe to share your true feelings with others. You will receive abundant blessings. So, yeah. Okay. Don't hold back on investing a little bit of time and interest into whoever it is that you join with. Okay? It plays a big role when it's time for you to actually have children and create the quality human beings that this realm really needs. Okay. Anyway, family, I'll see you in the next video. And yeah, if it's resonated, like, share, subscribe, and yeah.